Hi friends, I'm Aaron Ciotti. Everybody calls me Ciotti. Welcome to Whoop Wednesday. 3 builds, 1 stream. They're sitting right over here. I didn't launch Logitech G Hub, so this camera looks terrible. Yeah, can we finish? Will we finish? Is there a chance in hell? What's working in my favor is that one of the builds just needs to be plugged in. The VT 2.0 is already on it. The EP2 is already hooked up to it. So yeah, one of them is going to be really simple. But the other 2 are kind of scratch builds. So yeah, and one of the scratch builds has an external... There we go, now the camera looks good. One of the scratch builds has an external VTX, which is going to be an absolute nightmare. This scratch build here is going to be for sale. I'm going to do an auction, I think, because, I don't know, the internet. Yeah, this build here is going to be for sale. HappyModel Mobula 6 AIO. It's basically a Mobula 6 ELRS with the Meteor 65 frame, BT 2.0, and the now discontinued HappyModel, not HappyModel, WeBleedFPV 0702 28,500 kV Gore edition motors. They will be releasing another 0702 28,500 kV motor, but yeah, at the moment you can't get any backup motors. If you buy this for me and you cook one of the motors, I have 2 extras. I'll send you an extra. Although if you break one of the motor bells, you can just get one of the HappyModel 0702 26,000s and swap the motor bell on. But if the stator goes, I have 2 extra Gore edition stators that I'll send you. But yeah, snowball's chance in hell that I'll get them done. Let's talk a little bit about faith and the lack of faith in chat. I mean, it's not like it's not warranted. Anybody that's watching this not live and can't or doesn't want to see the chat, chat is like betting against me that I won't get all 3 of them done, basically. Speaking of chat, Bulldog FPV was first, Ramzonko is next, Michael D, Danzel the Terrible, I am Gross 98, Mr. Huggy, Rockcrawler, Fractalize, Michael D, Gusto, Ramdonko again, Jesse Garcia, Recyclops, Michael D again, Ramdonko again, Frank Nicholas, Scott Palocat, Carlux FPV, AJ, Metal Dirtskin. The different colors of your guys' names, it really does make it harder for me to read through the chat names. Squidgy FPV, 16-bit FPV, Steve-O, Tommy B, I am Gross again, Adam C. I think I got most of you folks. I'm gonna blame not reading names any further on YouTube. YouTube, make the different colored names stop. Is there an option? Participants, send feedback. There's not an option. God, it's very weird. YouTube just be changing stuff. They just change stuff. Start Q&A. Answer view. What is this? Start Q&A. What the hell is that? What is this? Start Q&A. I just typed what? What? Oh, no. That's stupid. End Q&A. Oh, come on. Okay, no. I was gonna say it looks like it wiped out the entire chat. I got my hair cut, and then I fell asleep on it, and now it's all like flat and shit. But you know, it's shorter. Thank God. It'll be floofy again in 1 to 2 weeks. Don't you worry. I always have my hair cut really short because it grows really fast. And I'm a cheap bastard. Hey, that the flight footage at the beginning of the live stream there was the beginning of Jungle Gym bashing some of these tiny whoops to see which ones are the best. I flew 2 batteries on the 75 with the 0802 27,000 kV 1.5 millimeter motor shaft motors, and it was absolutely hysterical. But for some reason that file won't play. It's the video file is corrupted, which is incredibly frustrating. Then I flew this guy, which is on the 0702 32,000 kV motors, and then I showed you this guy, which is on the 0603 26,000 kV motors. And since I knew I was going to be flying it outside, I put it onto the GemFan prototype quad blades, and it flew terrible. I hope you could see the last little bit of flying there. This was a mess. The hover point was, I think maybe I put a bad battery on it too. The hover point was at like 50% throttle, and it just flew terribly. I was really confused as to why this was flying so bad. I wish I could show you the flight footage from this because it was incredible. This was hands down the most fun rig to fly at the Jungle Gym. It was certainly not the most accurate rig to fly, but it was the most fun at that particular Jungle Gym. That was not my favorite. That's actually one of my least favorite Jungle Gyms that I've ever flown. it didn't really have any good smaller gaps to shoot. So for that particular jungle gym, this thing was awesome. Mobula 7, NewBeeDrone BI camera in the NewBeeDrone toothpick, typically used for a toothpick mount. The camera did get loose, so there was all kinds of jello, which was super annoying. That little bit of Bondic that I added during the stream the other night did not hold on, which is kind of annoying, but, you know, whatever. I can fix it. Little squirt of E6000 in here will totally fix that up, so that's an easy fix. But yeah, that particular jungle gym, this thing was hysterically fun. It was hard to shoot some of the smaller gaps. Maybe if I just keep flying this more and more and more and more and more, I'll get used to it. But this little guy with the 0702 32,000s, oh boy, it was good. It was real good. This was very, 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 very fun. It allowed me to really hit the smaller gaps that were on the jungle gym. It just didn't have the power or weight of this guy. So, it's interesting. Like, I was saying last live stream, like, for indoor use only, this is it. But that's not so true. This is indoor use and then tight spaces outdoor use. So if you've got like a jungle gym by your house that's got a ton of like smaller gaps, this is going to be great. And I was actually really impressed by how well this handled what little bit of wind that we had. Realistically, you're going to just build them both. They're cheap builds. All in, I think this is like $150. And this is probably about the same. All these builds really are is Mobula 6, Mobula 7, ELRS on both, motor swap, which is like $40-something, and then BT 2.0 swap, and you're done. So yeah, realistically, I mean, unless you're only going to fly inside. If you're only going to fly inside and then every once in a while you want to hit a jungle gym or whatever, or fly outside your house, this will definitely get the job done. If you want to spend some more time flying outside, this is going to be very fun. You know, I'd previously said, like, why bother building these when you can buy a toothpick? That's true if you're going to fly, like, down the street in front of your house and shoot big gaps between trees and stuff like that. But a toothpick at a jungle gym like that is not going to be nearly as fun as this. This is going to be a much more fun jungle gym basher than a toothpick. So yeah, that's kind of what I learned yesterday. I gotta spend some time, not on tonight's stream, but maybe on Friday, I'm gonna spend some time with this guy, figuring out why it was flying so bad. I have a feeling it's because of these quad blades. I think what was going on is that the quad blades are too grippy, and I was like outside where I didn't want that grip. I wanted it to be sliding around so that it would feel like a bigger quad. So yeah, I gotta... on Friday, we'll fly this guy back to back to back with 4, then 3, then 2 blades. And yeah, see what's going on. So that was my day yesterday. I left for my haircut like really early. And on the way I found a little jungle gym. Just at random. Yeah, what I've realized is there's a jungle gym in every single housing development. So like that's the key to finding. You're not going to find like a mega jungle gym, like the mega big crazy jungle gyms, which is what I was initially looking for. Those are in like little park spots. But it was a little bit too late in the day, and at all like schools had all gotten out, so all of those bigger gigantic crazy jungle gyms were filled with kids, little jerks. I would like go to one and be like, fuck man, there's kids again. Goddamn kids. Get out of here. I'm trying to fly at this fucking jungle gym that's made for you. Get out of here. Fucking kids. God. Christ. So yeah. But then there was just like, you know, a little housing complex or not housing complex, but like neighborhood, that's the word. There was a little neighborhood, and I'm like, well, let's see if this neighborhood has a thing, and they had that. And then I was like, you know what, every single neighborhood is going to have one of these. Ours does. The one across the street from us does. And then on my way home from Alpharetta, I stopped at, there's also a lot of them in churches. I stopped at the church that's across the street from us, and they had a jungle gym in the back, and I flew it some more. But the memory card was filled up, so I wasn't able to record any of that. But yeah, there's jungle gyms everywhere. So this whole like finding the best possible whoop setup for jungle gym bashing, I'm super into it right now, because once we have something that can like confidently hit all of the little gaps in like the monkey bars and all the other things, man, like a jungle gym with a rig that's designed to fly it in the same way that like a 5-inch would fly like an office park, that's the greatest thing ever. Nobody's gonna yell at you ever. It's a cheap build, and like everywhere on Earth, not on Earth, but everywhere in the US at least, there are going to be neighborhoods that more than likely have a bunch of different jungle gyms in them. So like you won't have to drive far to find a whole different one. And they seem to all be pretty different. Like I don't think I've ever seen the same jungle gym twice. So, you know, like I'm pretty spoiled being here in Atlanta. We have like the most insane office parks ever. But it's a pain in the ass. Like it's 45 minutes away, and like you're going to break a bunch of stuff, and like God forbid you hit somebody or something. Like it's much higher stakes. And you know, as the FAA tightens its grip more and more, it's going to be harder and harder for us to do that. So I'm more than happy to be on this little adventure here of figuring out what hits the jungle gyms best. I am absolutely staggered at how good our Ultimate Freestyle indoor tiny whoop is. It really works well. The 75 rig though, man, it's got a lot of power, yo. These 0802 27,000s on the big biblades, good lord, man. It flies like a regular old 3-inch micro brushless in a way, just scaled down. It's really impressive. I'm kind of blown away. And yo, I beat the living hell out of it yesterday. I flew 3 batteries through it, and they were all 450s, so the heavy batteries, and they run for like 4 or 5 minutes each. And it was non-stop hard crashing into metal bars, and all 4 motors spin up clean. This motor number 1 is a little bit more noisy than the rest, which makes no sense. I think it just kind of came out of the box like that. But the front motors spin up perfectly clean. So yeah, it seems like these Tiny Whoop 0802s with the 1.5 millimeter shaft are going to be the hot heat for a Mobula 7 that you want to really beat the shit out of. When you buy a Mobula 7 ELRS, oddly enough, it comes with 0802 motors that have a 1.5 millimeter motor shaft. Unfortunately, they're far too low of a kV. They're 20,000 kV. These iGao Tiny Whoop motors at 27,000 kV, in my opinion, are an absolute necessity to get this Mobula 7 to fly even remotely interesting. The motors that it comes with, they feel like long-range motors. So if you're into doing long range with tiny whoops, sure, but don't do that. That's a silly thing to do. The X12 has already started to act up. There was I took it off and started flying it, and it immediately fail-safed, and it needed to be power cycled, which is what my original X12 did, and then eventually the receiver just stopped working. It also fell out of the air a couple times at complete random. So yeah, I don't have high hopes for the X12, but I'm gonna keep putting batteries through it. I think I'm probably about 6 or 7 batteries into it now. Hopefully I get more than like the 20 or so batteries that I got out of the previous one. My fingers are crossed, but I'm not holding my breath because a lot of folks in chat have had X12s die on them. So if/when this X12 dies, I'm going to put in the regular Mobula 6 F4, Mobula 6 ELRS F4 AIO, and see how long it lasts. I think the problem with this AIO on the Mobula 7 is going to be pushing the FETs too hard. These FETs are only 5 or 6 amp, and this combo of 0802 27,000s on the big propellers, it draws some amps. But I've got a couple of these. I've got 1, 2, 3, and then a brand new one. So I've got 4 of these, so I can sacrifice one of them. But we're gonna run this X12 into the ground first. So yeah, that's in the future. We'll see what happens. I have an extra one of these right now because I took it out of this build here. That's gonna get the BetaFPV 1S with black box. So yeah. That's kind of what's going on. In the chat, if you want to talk directly to me, all you got to do is type CiottiFPV. If you do that, it'll light up an orange like this, and I'll read your chat comment. This is my full-time job. If you'd like to support me because you like this content and you want to see it continue, I rely on support from people like you. I'm not sponsored by companies that give me any money or any substantial amount of free stuff that I can, sell or do reviews of to make money. I literally rely on you guys. What that allows me to do is just be 100% honest with you guys at all times because you pay my salary. Folks that are sponsored by companies that send them thousands of dollars of stuff a month, they're going to be much less willing and likely to be honest when stuff sucks because they don't want that relationship to go bad because they rely on that company to send them stuff. So I've stole this sort of like model from Joshua Bardwell. It's why all of his reviews are so good and so honest because he is emboldened to you guys, and he makes the majority of his income from Patreon and YouTube. I don't make much from YouTube because I don't have a big channel here, so I rely on you beautiful people. And you take really good care of me, so thank you for that. Over on CiottiFPV.com, there are a ton of different ways that you can support me. Patreon, as it says here, helps me the most. You're going to get a ton of benefits by joining my Patreon. You can join for as little as $3 a month, or if you want to get in on giveaways that I do every other Monday, you can do the 5 or 10 or 20 or up dollar tiers. $5 and up tiers will get you entered into giveaways. Over on Etsy, I've got a bunch of stickers and hardware that might help you during your builds. Some really random, hard to find hardware too, so check that out for sure. Over on Fiverr, you can work one-on-one with me. I can help you fly better, tune better, or build better. Stop wasting money on components that suck or catch on fire. Let me take the 6+ years of experience I've had doing that and get you to stay away from the bad stuff. And you can stop wasting money. Teespring has a whole bunch of really fun shirts and apparel. If you want to support me directly, here's a PayPal button for you. And then I've got a whole bunch of affiliate links. If you're ordering anything on the internet, there's probably a content creator that has an affiliate link that's relying on your support. I've got them on WeBleedFPV, NewBeeDrone, FPV Cycle, Amazon, GetFPV, Oh My God, HD0, Flywoo, Banggood, Camera Butter, and AliExpress. All you have to do is hit the affiliate link at some point before you check out. And on that specific order, I will get a small percentage of it. So yeah, buy yourself something nice and help me out while you're at it if you don't mind. In the chat, Danzilla the Terrible tagged me and said, I have $20 for the Madison Man Fund if you can finish all 3 during the stream. I'll take that bet. Mr. Huggy says $20 per build of the 3 builds on tonight's stream. I'll take that bet as well. Rockcrawler says, hey, CiottiFPV and everyone. Michael D says, this sounds fun. Danzilla the Terrible. I will also send $20 to the Madison Man Fund if you get all 3 finished. Thank you, fellas. Thank you for your lack of confidence in me. Jesse Garcia says, no worries, we're just chilling in the comments. Adam C says, on my way home from work, but I'm here. Ramdanko says, spring trim. Dinza the Terrible says, did you get the hairdresser to trim your back hair as well? I am not a hairy guy. I've got no back hair, no nipple hair, no nothing. It's all up here. It all went to the top of my head. It's wild. That's why it's such a goddamn jungle up there, I think. YouTube just did the thing, scrolling back up. Denzel the Terrible says, not betting against CiottiFPV, just give me some incentive. Michael D says, it's not a bet against you, just some incentive to get the builds finished. I know, but this is more fun. Ramdango says, it's a side chat thing. CiottiFPV, I think. Don E with a $1.99 super chat. Thank you so much, brother. No comment, just a little microphone. Thank you, dude. Thank you for supporting to madness. that is trying to do FPV full-time. Holy crap! Look at this! We're already caught up on chat. Oh, you guys are screwed now. We're getting into the building early. Look at this. I got this into Betaflight and got the motor spinning the right direction, and I got some propellers on it. So, I did not have RPM filtering turned on in this for some reason. So I did turn that on, and now I've got to charge up a 4S battery or two to see. I also had a really weird filtering setup on it. I had the filters pulled down unbelievably low. So I'm hoping that so what I did is I turned RPM, I put it on the Blue Jay. It was not on Blue Jay. So I did that, and then I turned the filtering back to like normal amounts, and I'm hoping that with the RPM filtering, I'll be able to run a normal amount of, I'll be able to run the filter sliders at more normal amounts. They were down at like 0.5 and 0.6 or something. They were really, really, really low. So yeah, I'm hoping for the best. But I got to test hover it inside before I get it outside so I can potentially move those filters around. We're going to save the difficult builds to last because, you know, there's nothing like a quick win to get your spirits up. So let's put these guys aside here. And we are going to knock out this NewBeeDrone build real quick, which it's just a bunch of stuff that I kind of have lying around, but I'm actually considering selling this. This is a NewBeeDrone Acrobee version 2 AIO. Wait, you know what? Yeah, I am selling this. Oh, these motors do not have the right motor connectors on them. Oh, this build just got so much more difficult. We're going to do it, though. We're going to do it because I'm a sucker for punishment. So this build is going to be for sale. Yes, this will be a for sale build. So, yeah, we're going to get 2 builds done here tonight that are going to be for sale. What do you think of that? All right. Let's get into it here, friends. Hold on. Let me move the... Oh, God. That's a horrible thing to type, Michael D. Good God. I can't read that. Okay. Here we go. So this is a set of HappyModel 0802 25,000 kV motors that I've had laying around for a while. I kept these to keep the bells. I was very tempted to do giveaways with these at some point, but I did not. And yeah, we're going to see how they are. This is going to be sort of like this is going to be a much lower performance build than the little Mobula 6 Gore edition 0702 build. But that's okay. This would be a good like starter build, or maybe this could be a good basher build. It's got a cockroach frame on it. If you manage to break this cockroach frame, you could buy a replacement cockroach frame, and the replacement cockroach frame would have a lifetime warranty on it, and that would be kind of cool. This one does not have a lifetime warranty on it because you do not have proof of purchase. You in order to cash in on the lifetime warranty on the cockroach frames, you have to have proof of purchase. So yeah, this one does not carry a lifetime warranty, but if you buy a replacement, it certainly will. Or you could replace it if this breaks. You could replace it with a Meteor 65 frame, which would be a little bit lighter, but it's not going to be as stiff. You might need to adjust the filtering a little bit. Although I'll probably just not set this up to have a crazy cranked up filtering for you. So, all right, let's get this moving here. So I just noticed. So what I like to do is when like a motor and a stator go to hell, I will like black marker all over them, and it would appear that I have black markered over this one. So we're gonna put this motor aside. The rest of these look completely fine though. Yep, these are good. And then I've got one more motor here, and this motor has a gold stator on it, and what that's an indication of is that this was a tiny whoop stator here. So that's kind of fun. This build, there's going to be some extra motors. It looks like there's an extra bell here. That's kind of cool. Man, there's a whole set here. What are these? Are these 20? No, these are 25,000s. Okay, yeah, so these are 0802 25,000s. Interesting. So maybe I'll put these gold buddies on here. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna put these. I'm gonna do these guys instead. Oh, you know what? I kind of have to do these guys instead because these are tiny whoop motors with the PCBs on the bottom, whereas these guys here. Oh yeah, look at that. These are HappyModel motors which don't have the PCBs. Good lord. I mean, I would have figured that out the second that I tried to desolder the wires from these. So that's kind of fun. I don't know why the hell I'm holding on to this one, but whatever. Okay, so yeah, change of plans. We're gonna use these tiny whoop onesies, and one of these tiny whoop onesies has a HappyModel red bell on it, but that's okay. That'll work totally fine. The tiny whoop motors are all made by HappyModel. So there's that. All right, people. Here we go. First thing, I actually need to take another set of motors and remove the plugs from them because I need a set of tiny whoop plugs for these, and I don't necessarily know if I have them. So we're going to do that first. We're going to take another set of motors, remove the NewBeeDrone specific plugs. Although wait, are these the NewBeeDrone plugs? That looks like a normal plug. No, it is. Okay, yeah. Yeah, that's a NewBeeDrone plug. All right, cool. So we're good. Let's get a move on here. We're going to batch as much of this as we can. And that means setting all these guys up at once. Where's the other one? Here it is. Cool. Who's building tonight? Anybody? Anybody in chat building something fun? Or not fun? Well, builds aren't necessarily fun. Sometimes they're sad and depressing. Not usually, though. Soldering iron coming on. Set to 700 degrees, as always. Oh, boy. There's a big glob of... oh, shitters. That's too much. Big glob of flux on here already. Looks like it leaked out during the night. Alright, fluxing up some of these solder points just to make it a little bit easier. Make sure the heat transfer is nice and quick. That's what flux does. That's the main job of flux, is to make sure you get nice fast heat transfer between the tip of the soldering iron and the work. Let's get this going here. Give you guys a little bit of a close-up of what's happening. All right. And let's swap over here, and let's see if it'll focus. Sure enough. All right, this is not going to be the best camera angle, but you'll at least be able to see a little bit more of the smoke. When I'm removing these, I do all three at once. I just lay the soldering iron flat. This one, actually, one of the wires broke off. But, yeah, just pretend. The other three, I'll do all three at once. So you can just lie the tip of the soldering iron across, and it'll heat all three up. And then when you're done, just like pull away. And it's good practice to pull your soldering iron off of the joints, like away from the joints. It'll help them from, it'll keep them from any chance of bridging. So lay it flat, pull the wires off, and then pull outwards. Just make your life a little easier. Next one. Yeah, it's having a hard time focusing. Oh, there it goes. Okay. And lay it flat. Pull them off and pull straight out. And now I'm keeping my soldering iron hand against the desk like this. That way my hand is nice and stable. It's called bone support. You don't want your hand hovering up in the air because then you're going to be shaky because your muscles are holding yourself up. Get the side of your hand down flat on the desk. That'll also allow you to get the iron nice and flat to the table. Typically, you don't want the soldering iron up like this. You want to flatten the soldering iron out and get a nice flat contact patch on the pad. The more of the soldering iron is touching the pad, the better the heat transfer is going to be. And that's a big deal. Heat transfer is like 80% of soldering. That's what you're doing with the soldering iron. You're just moving heat around. Nice and flat. Touch all 3 pads. And away you go. Alright, so these motors are all set. I'm going to solder regular wires back onto them at some point here. This is a set of 0702 30,000 kV motors. At some point, I'll do a build with 702 30,000s to sell, just not tonight. I'm going to put these up here because I have a set of regular motor leads up here that'll be perfect for them. It's probably the ones that originally came off of off of them, to be honest, so they can go back to their home. All right, so now we're going to do the same thing on these motors, but we are going to then solder that set of leads that we just removed up to them. But first, I need to remove the regular motor wires from these. So we're going to do that all over again. But then we're going to actually start our build. I could have done this ahead of time, give myself a better chance of getting these done. That's okay. We make things hard on ourselves around here. The only good work is hard work, right? Fart noise. Enter fart noise here. I need a fart noise on the thing. All I have is this stupid and this stupid. That is a good solid record scratch sound though. All right, I'm going to tilt these motors down a little bit so that you can see them better. Okay. Yeah. Here we go. Perfect. And we're going to hit these with a little bit of flux again. I'm going to switch cameras, and away we shall go. Oh God, that's far too big of a blob of flux. Okay. Too much is always better than not enough, though, when it comes to flux. Steady Eddie's building a Fractal 75 HG0s. Very cool. Have to order longer screws from the stack. Yeah, I ended up drilling mine out ever so slightly and just running regular M2 screws. Hello. Oh, look at that hair. Oh God, I love it.
What's all this yelling happening?
I don't know. You know me.
Yeah.
You've met me before.
Crazy
it's kind of my thing. Love you.
Can they see me?
No. Have fun.
Thank you.
Don't die.
Sherry's driving, so.
Ah, we're fine then. Maggie tells me last night that a big part of her driving success is due to praying. And I was like, wait, what? And it's not exactly what she meant, but like the conversation went like that, and I was like really worried at first. I'm like, yes?
Nothing, I'm just gonna go out the front door. I just had to get my keys.
How dare you? All right. Yeah, this is fine. These can hang out here. This middle area can be the apparently has become the I forget what these are called. I forget what these connectors on the regular tiny whoop motors are. They're not PH 2.0. See, I didn't pull outwards, and 2 of the pads bridged there. Perfect example of what I was saying a minute ago. I think they might be JST plugs. JST. Oh, they're JST 1.0, I think it is. Ramdego says, "Don't be so crude." Never. I will never be not so crude. All right, here we go. Come on. There it goes. I didn't pull out off the pads again that time, and the same thing happened. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're JST 1.0 now that I really think about it. Because you know what? They might be 1.25, and then the smaller NewBeeDrone specific ones are 1.0. Here's how you find out. You head on over to NewBeeDrone's website, and they tell you. All right, so we got all 3 of those removed. I have to know now. I have to know. So you go to NewBeeDrone's website and you search for motor plugs. I think that'll find it. Yep. And here it is. So NewBeeDrone JST 1.0 and JST 1.25 whoop motor replacement, and it says right here, JST 1.0 fits NewBeeDrone flight controllers, while JST 1.5 fits all other flight controllers. So yeah, our regular plugs, as I call them, regular plugs, are JST 1.25. What do you think of that? Oh wait, that's the wrong one. Oh, that's the wrong one too. There we go. Yo, the close-up focus of this other Logitech camera is quite nice. Metal Dirt Skin coming in $1 late and a minute short. Wait, what? Oh shit, I just smashed into the flow ride down here on the floor. Kind of looking forward to flying that on RPM filter. I'm hoping it'll be a little bit better on RPM filtering than it was without it. Because it was okay without it, but man, the filtering was really, really low. I'm hoping I don't have to keep running it. And I did notice it, like when I was out flying it. I did notice there was, yeah, it just kind of felt prop washy. But I mean, it's an old rig. It's an old frame. It's old motors. They're perfectly good motors, though. Okay, people, let's dive in here. Now we can actually start doing the work on this build. So, I'm going to have to put my big silly headset thing on here because these motor leads are just so goddamn small that I need the magnification. And yeah, we're going to solder on some of these little short boy JST 1.0 NewBeeDrone specific leads. And all will be right with the world once we're done. Very excited. So I'm just kind of straightening these guys out. They were a little bit bent. And the first one we're going to do by hand. And then the rest we're going to do by committee. No! With a pair of tweezers. So let's see. This now becomes a fight between my forehead and the lamp. And here we go. Now, I put a serious amount of flux onto the pads a minute ago. But I'm actually going to put a little bit more. And actually, this center pad needs a little bit more solder. So let me do that first. Let me put some extra solder on here. Good. Okay, perfect. So that's good to go. And I'm just going to reflux all 4 of these, actually. Because this is tough work. Like these are really small motor wires, and like anything that we can do to make this a little bit easier, we should. And Flux certainly does that. Like, you can do all this stuff without using Flux, but it's just a lot more difficult. And, like, don't do that to yourself. Just use it. I know you think you're saving time by not using it, myself included. But, man, like, the first time you get something wrong, all that time that you saved from reaching across your desk to grab the Flux thing is just up in smoke. Not literally, because you didn't use Flux, and you're not gonna, and the smoke is the Flux burning off. See what I did there? Dad jokes, motherfuckers. What do you think of that? Okay. Yo, Doom Rider's in the house. What's up, homie? How you been? What's new? Ramdogma says, what's the BetaFPV VTX size equals? That's hard to find, very small. There's a whole bunch of them. All the nano VTXs, Ram. Mudderson says, I could never do that until I got a really good pair of tweezers from an electronics store. Makes all the difference. Yeah, a pair of sharp-tipped tweezers are super, super, super nice. And arguably, like, necessary to do this tiny, tiny, tiny work. All right, here we go. Let's get this on here. Alright. I'm actually going to add a little bit of solder to all these, I think. Although you got to be careful. These little tiny pads are so close together that if you add a blob of solder, you can really, like, make it so that you can't get the wire on the pad. I hope you guys can see this. There we go. All right, first one's on there. Now the fine-tipped tweezers are going to come out and save the day. And let's get this second one going here. Man, I thought this was going to be a quick build. It is not. Luckily, on the other two builds, I won't really have to do this. The only soldering I'm going to have to do... Well, the one build's going to take a bunch of soldering, so I'm going to just shut up right now. Awesome. All right, cool. That one is good to go. Those solder joints look really nice. Yeah, I'm glad I put a bunch of extra solder on there. These are the old school joints, which really kind of soak up the solder. Spin the motor real quick to make sure it spins freely, and that's how you're going to check that your solder joints have not bridged. Take another quick look at them, and yeah, we're looking fine. All right. Spin these little leads up here real quick, and one motor is done. Okay, one down, 3 to go, and same deal. I'm gonna add a little chunk of solder to these guys. These are the slightly older Tiny Whoop onesies, which they've got pads. They've got slightly different pads on them. Basically, the pads have through holes in them, so that the winding wires can kind of come through, and so you can't put your wire flat on the pad because the winding wire is there. It's kind of hard to explain, but just take my word for it. It makes your life a little bit harder. But if you put a nice blob of solder on there, it's totally fine, because the solder blob will kind of encompass the end of the winding as well as your wire, and it'll get you a nice strong joint. So that's kind of why I've decided to do that here. Bob Noxious says, I imagine CiottiFPV who's in Greenville working with me at the Bando. Oh, very, very cool. Man, I'm so fucking pissed I couldn't go to that. CiottiFPV went down south and hung out with Bob Noxious last weekend at the Bando. Very, very cool. I saw the picture of Bob and Botgrinder. I was like, oh, that's awesome. Very jealous, man. Very, very jealous. But times are kind of tight right now, so just Just hanging out at home. And I love hanging out at home. The coolest people in the world here. Like, you guys are great and all, but man, I'm living with 3 amazing people right now. So home life is really, really good. And I'll get to see you guys this year. Oh. Speaking of getting to see you guys. Check this out. Hold on. Check this out, yo. Ah, shitters. Hold on. Hold on, please. Clicking buttons, clicking buttons. This is where the new Micro Mayhem is going to be held. This is a totally different room from before. There's no real stairs to get up to this. And good Lord, look at all them gaps. Unfortunately, I think this is going to be really kind of Tiny Whoop specific. In the past, there was enough room in that area where we could do 3-inch micro brushless, 2.5-inch, 3.5-inch. Christ, we even did 5-inch. Yeah, this I think is kind of going to be Tiny Whoop only. Although I got to be honest, the really fun spot, the fun area of the previous location of Micro Mayhem was Tiny Whoop specific. So that's kind of fine. We'll set up some gates here and shit. We'll have an unbelievable amount of lights in this little area, so it'll be kind of cool. The struggle that we had in that big ass area previously was not enough light. So we'll be able to light this area up like a son of a bitch. And I'm hoping that there's some room up vertically. I wish Stacy had pointed the camera up a little bit more. But it looks like up here, see that railing? See that yellow railing there? It looks like maybe we can do something up there. And maybe it'll be 3-inch flyable. But yeah, this is going to be the new Micro Mayhem area. Realistically, I think it's going to be just all Tiny Whoops all the time. But man, I think this is going to be sick as hell with Tiny Whoops. So get your Modula 6 ELRSs now. Get those 30,000, 32,000 kV 0702s on them. Get your HD0 Modula 7s built. Because this is going to be cool. The multipathing, I'm sure. So, and here's you'll be able to see where it's at in a second. So here's the other door into it. Ready? So look, see where that is? This is where Micro Mayhem used to be last year, right? So we're right in that same spot, just right inside here. So yeah, hopefully this is cool. We'll try it out this year. If it sucks, maybe we'll move it back to the other spot. It's not my decision. I have nothing to do with it. Stacy just sent me this video and said, hey, here's where it's going to be this year. So yeah, not my decision to make, but I'm thinking this is going to be really cool. I mean, the most fun that I've had in the Micro Mayhem area has been with Tiny Whoops. So this will really kind of drive that point home. And I think a lot more people have... I could totally be wrong, but I think a lot more people have Tiny Whoops than 3-inch micro brushless rigs. So maybe it'll be more popular this area this year. We'll see. I don't know. I'm a little worried that the multipathing is going to be just even worse. But it kind of couldn't get any worse than in previous years. So we'll see. Doom says, just built a BetaFPV 5-amp AAO with RC and power 27,000s, and it's an insane little ripper on the Modula 7 frame. Very cool, Doom. If you move that to a Meteor 65 millimeter frame, you'll like it even more. I mean, you'll like it even more for inside work. What you've got there on the Modula 7 frame, that is more of an outdoor sort of Tiny Whoop. If you want to do more technical stuff inside and shoot tighter gaps, just move that down to a Meteor 65. BetaFPV Meteor 65 is the frame that you want. Caution, FPV says, only issue is the current sensor doesn't seem to work at all, can't calibrate. He previously said, T-motor board I was having issues with was actually my brand new motors. I tested the old motors, but must have had a loose connection between. They work fine on both boards. All right, that's good. Tuner Taxi says, got another Bando meetup this weekend if anybody wants to meet in Maryland. There you guys go. Anybody around Maryland, you can break some stuff in a Bando. Bob Noxious says, no, not Bot Grinders thing. Oh, a different thing. Jesus, Bob, you're going to all the events. Good for you. Oh my God, that's amazing. All right. Good deal. Flush FPV says, that's awesome. The stairs killed me last year. Yeah, I had to go up and down those stairs a lot to retrieve rigs that I dumped down that big stupid dive. It's worth it, though. Okay. We got the one wire going here. Let's do the other two. I've got my nerd goggles on. Here we go. You know what, Doom? To be honest, you should build a second rig. You should buy a Mobula 6 ELRS and put that on a Meteor 65 frame, BT 2.0, and then get even higher KV motors. Get the tinywhoop.com 0702 30,000 KV motors. Those 27,000 you have are 0802s, and those are okay on the 65mm rigs, but the 702s are noticeably better. Those 802 27,000s are kind of perfect for outdoor work on that Mobula 7 frame. So, like, there's no reason to change that build, man. That build is awesome. If you don't have it on the GemFan Bi-Blades, get it onto the GemFan Bi-Blades. They are just amazing. And yeah, that build is, like, kind of done. That's the perfect, like, not Bando Basher, Jungle Gym bashing build. I just recently did one similar. The only thing you're going to run into with that build there that you've got is you're probably going to be bending motor shafts. If you want, maybe replace one of those RC and power shafts, but motors, once you bend the motor shaft, if you get sick of it, on tinywhoop.com, there is a 0802 27,000 kV motor that has a 1.5mm motor shaft, and that's going to really help out with that durability there. That's kind of the hot setup right now, in my opinion, in terms of an outdoor slash just like in a general outdoor tiny whoop. My favorite thing to do with them, though, is hit jungle gyms. All right, 2 down. 2 to go. Oh, did I not solder these up 1 to 1? No, I did. We're good. Hold on. Just getting these guys twisted up properly here. Okay. No. Stop it. What's happening here? Why are you... No, you go there. You go there. Stop it. There we go. Okay. Gotta make sure they look good. If I'm gonna be selling this, it's gotta look good, man. Gotta look good. There we go. 2 down. Butterson says, as I recall, those wood chips they like to put under jungle gyms can be deadly if you try to turtle out. Yeah, you got to be careful. They can get stuck in the props. Usually, most of the times I was fine, but I did have to go retrieve once or twice. Bulldog says, CiottiFPV chat, looking for the Mobula 6 AIO only with ELRS. Can you post a link or show where to find it? There's so many different boards, it's hard to figure out what is what. Tiny Whoop used to have a whole bunch, but then they went out of stock. Somebody in chat will come through. Chat, folks, you're not going to be able to, unless it's a mod. Mods, you can post links. non-mods, you can't post links. It's going to look like you can post a link, but it's just going to be invisible. So just say like which website has it in stock and the name of it, and then Bulldog can just do a quick search on GetFPV or RDQ or PyroDrone or wherever. Check WeBleedFPV. They might have some. Check the Tiny Whoop specific stores first to show them our love, and then check the big three. Is what I usually try to do. Somebody be stomping upstairs. Somebody's upset. Okay, next up, another wiring harness. This is the one that kind of broke. So let's strip a little bit here. Come on, you little hooker. Get off of there. There we go. Yeah-ha-ha! Okay. And so I need to tin this guy real quick like. And then we can solder it up. All right. Yes, even the little tiny Whoop plugs need to be tinned, friends. Okay. Did I add extra solder to these guys? Doesn't look like I did. They do have a nice little blob on them, but we'll add a little bit more. All right, and two of these just bridged, so we're going to heat them both up. I just did it just like that. I know that was kind of quick, but they bridged, and then I put heat between both pads and then just pulled outwards like I showed you guys on the last stream. Anybody that's watching this not live, if you look in the comments and nobody has left time codes, if you want to leave time codes, I'll be forever grateful. The time codes are kind of like a game changer with these longer live streams. All right, I didn't get quite as much solder on these pads, but I think I got just enough. Let's see here. Oops, hold on. Oh yeah, just enough. All right, now we're gonna go tweezer. Jason Black is looking for a 3-inch frame for 1204 motors. Any suggestions? Unfortunately not. The 3-inch frame selection right now is just abysmal. At some point I'll have my frame out, but it's going to take a bunch of time. It's going to take a bunch more time. I'm sorry for that, but frame design is tough. Okay. And see, so these, all right, so here we go again. These two pads, you guys probably can't see it, but they are bridged. The left two pads are bridged, right? So I'm going to put heat on them and just pull straight down. That's it. That's all it takes to unbridge pads. Just remember that the solder travels towards the heat. So by pulling down like that, the solder wants to come with the tip of the soldering iron rather than stick to the pads. You're just catering to what the solder wants, basically. Weird way to think about it, but it's true. All right, that middle one's good, and then we got the far right one here. And I like to grab these just barely in the tip of the tweezers so that I can get them as flat on the pad as possible. And that one's not kind of cooperating, but it did just tack a little bit. So now I can grab all three, and that's going to push that last one down against the pad. The only problem is when it moves like that, and now you got to redo it. But that's okay. Sometimes you have to do what's called rework. So we'll get it tacked down again. And then we'll try to rework it one more time. So just get it connected. I mean, that looks pretty good as it is, but I do want to get it as flat as possible. So now I'm going to grab all three, and then heat this third one back up, and that'll let it sit flatter against that pad. Now it should be good. I'm gonna hit it one more time though, because the wires started to kind of like flatten out, and it's almost trying to bridge with the other one. So I'm just gonna go in here with the tip of the soldering iron and just pull the one strand back. Pull it back. There we go. And now there's a nice gap between those three pads. And I did notice when that thing moved that there was a little solder ball that stuck to the wire here. So I'm going to grab that. There it is. And throw that in the trash. Cool. This guy is good. Give it one quick look here. And I'm going to hit the first one again. I just want to smooth the very first one out. It's got a little bubble in it. The solder's not sitting totally flat. And so I'm going to grab all three. Got a nice clean soldering iron tip. And I'm just going to reheat this first pad. There we go, much better. Although I accidentally put a little bit of heat into the second pad, and that wire moved ever so slightly. So let's just fix that real quick. So I'm going to come in at a really steep angle on this one, because I want to only touch the middle pad. This is kind of tough, but there we go. Perfect. Middle wire is perfectly centered now. And take a quick look here up by my face. Oh yeah, we good. Beautiful. All right, twist them up. And we'll get on to the last one here. All right. Last one. This is the guy that has the red bell. I must have bent the gold one at some point. I think that happened in the at Maggie's rental house with that big crazy dive by the front door. God, that was fun. Man, that house may as well have been like specifically designed for tiny whooping. So the wires are kind of frayed out on this one, so I'm going to just kind of flatten them out. I've been lately just using the edge of this thing here. You just need something to push against. I got that wood block, that works really well. But yeah, we can just use the edge of this thing. This is totally fine. And you're just heating it up, putting a little bit of downwards pressure on it, and just pulling away, and it'll just kind of group the individual wires together. No big deal. There we go. All is right with the world. And then just take that little bit of extra solder off the edge there. You don't want to let that sit. Okay. Last one here. It has a bunch of flux on it, but it doesn't have quite enough solder. So clean the tip, as you do. Always make sure you keep your junk clean. And let's add some solder to this fella. Cool. 1, 2, 3. All right, that went as well as the first two. The third one, it wouldn't. The pads didn't want to take solder as nicely as the first couple. It's kind of weird, but sometimes they're just mean. Don't let them get to you. All right, first one going on. There we go. And it is tweezer time. Come on. There it is. Oh, hold on. We need to pull these guys apart. There we go. And let's get this second one going here. Ah! Ah, shit, that's ugly. Boy, is that ugly. One of the annoying things is when the motor will kind of like rotate like that. I don't really have a great solution to keeping the motor from rotating like that. Usually it doesn't happen, but if you try to kind of like push sideways on it, it can sometimes do that. So I'm going to remove this all the way. Get it into better position. There we go. And last one here. Killer. There we go! And it's only 15 after 7. Not a shot in hell that I'm going to get all 3 of these done tonight. All this work that I've done, I didn't even expect that I would need to do. I thought this build would just be plug and play, but I was wrong. I forgot that the motors did not have the right plugs on them. But hey, the work needs to get done, so let's get it done, yo. Spin the motor to make sure it spins freely and that we don't have any bridges. Seems good. Twist these little bastards up a little bit. Make it look nice. And now this build is kind of plug and play, I think. Let's see. We'll find out together, goddammit. Okay, I can take the nerd goggles off. That's good. My life has nerd goggles. My life is nerd goggles. Hugh Jellen's in the house. He says, is it worth the trouble to replace SPI VTX antenna with a polarized one, maybe the 6 LRS 915? I think so. The True RC singularities are, the difference in performance is kind of insane. So yeah, especially like if you only have one rig. I've got two of them. I've got 2 of the singularities. I really want to buy a third one, but it just seems nuts. Like, I've got 2 rigs that have great video. The third rig is just a test rig. It's just, yeah. So for like your main rig and maybe your backup rig, yes. Fix says Moon Travelers should be here tomorrow. You got me pumped to try them out. Been using 0802 25,000s. Very cool. Fix. Do yourself a favor. Put a little bit of a motor limit on them. They're a lot. Motor limit them down to like 90% just to get yourself started and then gradually push it up. Ramdongo says, should the sticky gloop stay in the tin? Dust collector or blobs everywhere? You know, it's been completely fine leaving it in the tin. I don't usually get many solder blobs kind of coming off. And yeah, I mean, it's up to you. I was taking it out of the tin, and then at one point I was like, wait, what if I just leave it in there? And it was kind of completely fine. So, yeah, I don't know. It's a good point. It would be safer to take it out. But I like how the tin kind of like holds it in place. So yeah, either or. But I have been paying attention to that. I have been paying attention to like, are there solder blobs kind of starting to show up? And yeah, at 700 degrees on the soldering iron, I don't tend to get a lot of solder blobs or solder explosions. So that's probably why I'm getting away with it. If you get a lot of solder blobs, maybe don't leave it in the tin. Or maybe run your iron at a lower temperature to get less of them. Okay, so we got the motors. Let's screw them onto the frame, and I think it's all just screwing stuff in at this point. Let's go. So this duct is slightly cracked. So this is a used build. The other build that I'm going to be selling, auctioning, whatever, is a brand new build. So keep that in mind. This is a yeah, This is a kind of thrown together from extra stuff I had laying around build. The other build is fresh stuff, so that's yeah. And the I mean, I would like to say the pricing will match, but these are going to be auctions, so yeah, it's up to you guys. But for this build, don't go too crazy. Don't expect it to be absolutely brand new. I don't know how I'm going to do the auction. I'm tempted to do it on Instagram. Maybe we'll do it during a live stream. That could be fun. I'll say, like, auction ends at, like, if we were going to start the auction right now, I want to wait until I have this built and fly it around so you guys get to see it and whatnot. But, like, for example, if this was ready to go, I could say, like, hey, auction starts now, and it runs until 8 o'clock. At 8 o'clock, the highest bid in chat PayPal's me, and then it's theirs. So, yeah. I think in that stream, I'll, like, title the stream Live Auction, and the thumbnail will be, like, a picture of the rig and shit like that. I can probably, like, hype it up and be like, the first ever live auction on a live stream FPV. Auction might be Friday, payday and all, right? It depends. If if I can't get this up in the air and flying right, then I can't imagine I can't figure it out before Friday, but yeah, it depends. But hopefully Friday. I'm gonna put the ugly motor and bell up front so that it takes as much abuse as possible. So that, because what you could do if this becomes yours, you could break this motor bell and then just buy an extra set of 0802 25,000s from Jesse, and they'll come with the gold motor bells. So you could swap this one out and have them be all matching motors again. And then you've got 3 extra gold motor bells, and then you'll have this 1 extra red motor bell. If that kind of thing drives you insane. All of the stator bases on this rig are the gold Tiny Whoop onesie 0802 25,000. So you're getting a full set of stator bells that are matching, but 1 motor bell does not perfectly match. Gives it character, though. Thurberg 2400 says, when will your limited edition fat strap be available? Never, because I don't like the fat straps. The fat straps make way too much of the back of my head sweaty. Yeah, I don't like them. I do not like them. So. Okay, motors are on. There's an aggressive hair on here. Get out of there, aggressive hair. Get out of there. It's stuck between the motor shaft and the C-clip. Get out of there. There we go. Got it. Doom Racer says, what are your thoughts on the fractal frames? Man, I love Eves, and I love the idea behind the fractal frames. Yoctosun, Yoctosun are my nerd goggles. I love the idea behind the fractal frames, and I love that he's making them. In practice, though, I don't like them. The biggest problem that I have with them is that they put a lot more stress on the motor bell. The nice thing about these Meteor 65 frames is actually how floppy they are. So when you start slamming into stuff with these frames, the duct is going to push on the propeller is going to push on the motor, and what's nice is the whole motor mount base moves, and it reduces the stress on the motor bell. When you put a carbon fiber brace across these, the motor is now held completely solid. So on these 1mm shaft motors, the weak point, I can tell you unequivocally, is the motor shaft up above the bell. So when you have a carbon fiber brace or a fractal frame, you start breaking a lot of motor bells. And that bending and breaking motor bells. And that's just fucking... I just find that to be really annoying. I mean, it's not the end of the world. The motors are easy to replace, but they're the most expensive. It's the same reason why I fly the glide frames. I would rather have the arm break and the motor survive than be replacing expensive motors all the time. So yeah, it's kind of up to you. The fractal frames don't really have like yeah, sure, you can probably move the filtering down a little bit, but on these Meteor frames the filtering is completely fine. So like the fractal frames kind of solve a problem that doesn't exist in my opinion. They're also squish decks, which I don't love. It's cool that there's no props in view, but on these frames, if you run like 20 degrees up tilt, there's pretty much no, duct in view. There's no ducts in view either. So, yeah, I love Eves and I love what he's doing, but just for me, it's just, there's nothing that they're improving on. So there's just kind of no reason to run them. I hate that because Eves is such a cool guy. But yeah, I don't run them and I don't really suggest them. Because yeah, like the Meteor 65 frame is just so good. It's just like, yeah, that's what I recommend. All right, let's plug some motors in and then we can drop the canopy down on top here and we'll pretty much be done. We'll put this into, well, if I'm going to get these builds done, I can't really do, I can't really put them all into Betaflight and put them up in the air and fly them around and shit. So I guess we'll just bolt it together and away we go. June Loco says no prop wash at all. I wonder if he's talking about the fractal frames. I get no prop wash at all on these frames. Like, even on the Meteor 65 frame, you can move the filtering absurdly low. Well, you can make the amount of filtering absurdly low by pushing the filters up higher, mainly because on Tiny Whoops, inherently, all of the vibrations happen at high frequencies. So, yeah, like there's no reason to run a lot of filtering on Tiny Whoops, just as a function of them running at a higher RPM. So yeah, on the Meteors, you're not really leaving any performance on the table from not being able to move the filter sliders up, because you certainly can. As long as you build clean, as long as you've got a clean build, of course. If you've got motor shafts that are all banged up and bent to hell, you're not going to be able to do that. But that has nothing to do with the frame. Like, the fractal frame isn't really going to be able to handle banged up motor bells any... Well, I guess maybe you could argue that it would. You could totally make an argument that the fractal frame will allow you to push... to run motors that are more banged up. I can see that being a thing. So, yeah. That's kind of interesting. Well, yeah, I don't know. That's an interesting conversation of, does no, yeah. A stiffer frame is going to isolate the gyro more from vibes that are coming from banged up propellers. What I was thinking there was that, like, you could make an argument that a wobbly frame will kind of absorb some of those vibrations, but it doesn't really absorb the vibrations. It just puts them into a different... It puts them into a different frequency range, and when it comes to motor-based vibrations, the RPM filters are going to do an amazing job at taking care of them. And if some of that vibration gets absorbed by the frame, it's not going to be on that motor band anymore, and it's going to become a vibration that the dynamic filtering has to attack. and that's not a good thing. So, yeah, more banged up motors, I think, in theory, should work better on the with the fractal frame. But, and that's a good thing because you're going to be banging up motor shafts more often with that frame because the motor bases are held so solid. So it's kind of, in a way, it's kind of putting a Band-Aid on something that I don't necessarily think should have a Band-Aid on it. You should fix it, fix the system so that you're not banging up your motors as much. But that's just me. If you guys like the fractal, if any of you like the fractal frames, you're not wrong. There's nothing wrong with those frames. I just think that the Meteor frame is a better, Meteor 65 frame is a better choice. Okay, so motor wires are all out of the way. This one motor wire on here is the exact right length. Like there's no slack on it, but yeah, it's good. It's the motor plug is sitting in there fully seated, so we good. Okay, I am going to do a NewBeeDrone Goober canopy on here, and with the BI camera. So this is going to be an all NewBeeDrone build. Hold on, let me get an antenna, as Nick Burns famously pronounces it, plugged on in here first. Wait, no. We go through here. That's what we do. We go through here, we cross that over, and cool. Now this guy gets plugged in. By the way, I'm never making fun of Nick Burns' pronunciation of antenna. I'm celebrating it. He lives in the Midwest, I believe, and they pronounce some stuff very differently than us. To be honest, they pronounce stuff differently than anyone. And antenna is a good example of that. So yeah, don't like message Nick Burns and be like, yo, see, I was making fun of you. I'm not making fun of him. I love Nick Burns. He's a great guy. We talk on Facebook every once in a while. Usually it's me bugging him. But yeah, he's an awesome guy and a great reviewer. He's like almost unarguably the best reviewer in the micro space. Yeah, just a really cool dude. And I've asked him, like I've messaged him like, hey, what do you think of this, or this in the past? And on a bunch of occasions, he's been like, I'm not using mine anymore. Why don't I just send it to you? And I'm like, wow, that is amazing, dude. Thank you. And yeah, he sent me a bunch of stuff, just random like motors, or he might have sent me an entire quad at one point though. Of just like, here, it got sent to me. I didn't pay for it. Usually he does, like every couple of months, he'll do like a big giveaway roundup, and he'll give a lot of those things away. So it's basically just, him doing a giveaway. All right, let me heat up this VHB to make absolutely sure that it sticks firmly to this AIO. What's up, Rob Axelson? Steady Eddie says, love the Meteor frame flying up north. Cold, the frames have been cracking a lot, hoping the fractal will hold up better. We fly in a heated indoor dome. Interesting. There's a little trick with VHB. If you get it hot, it sticks better. And like a lot of times, you just need it to get to stick this one. You need to just get it to stick this one time, and then it's kind of on there forever. This board is like 1 gram, so it's not going to have, in crashes, it's really not going to have any momentum to it. So, yeah, no real worries there. All right, cool. That guy's on there, and now it's going to clear. It was fouling on the on this part of the canopy, which is why I wanted to move it. And I've changed my mind on this wire. I'm going to pull this wire out. I was running it up and over the little cross brace there, but we're not going to do that. Okay, here we go with this. I'm going to put the antenna in after the fact. And right now, this is hands down the hardest part of any NewBeeDrone build, but it looks like I got it quick on this one. I'll be damned, yeah. It's always really hard to get that guy plugged in. And then I'm going to run this antenna up through there. And just pop it in here. Drop this UFL down. There we go. Okay, so now we just need to screw this canopy on and we will be all set. Let's use these big fatty boy screws. These are actually the same screws that NewBeeDrone uses, so this is kind of perfect. Just make sure that they're the long ones. There are 2 versions of these screws that exist. Now, yeah, these are all the long ones. Cool. And so, what's up, channels? Oh, God. Don't do it, channels. Mods, give channels a chance. Give him a minute. But look, man, don't fucking do it. And don't ask me what it is. Just don't do it, dude. Just don't do it. Don't do it. Just be cool. That's all I ask. Mother Edson says, any complaints about the separate RX weight or otherwise? Weight is the complaint. For sure, weight is the complaint. Other than that, it's totally fine. But it adds a significant amount of weight. It adds like over a gram. Because it's you're also adding the weight of the wires that are going on there. But for the old school NewBeeDrone boards that are FR Sky only, it's totally worth it. It's totally worth the extra like gram, like 1.2 grams or so. All right, channel, you were just reminding everyone. It's fine. That's fine. Give you a chance. Hey, this for the record, this canopy is a little melty here. Fair warning. Robox says hello. And we got that. Robox says, did you locate the OG Run Cam 3 with the round lens? I scored a secondhand baby tooth, and guess what it had? Let me know if you need it. Oh, I would love that, Rob. I have. I was able to get my hands on one of them. I would love to have an extra one though, but only if you're never going to use it. So wait, you're saying that you got a secondhand baby tooth that had it in there? No shit, I didn't know that it came in those. I thought it just came in Mobula 6s. So if you guys have OG baby tooths, check them. You might have a ultra rare RunCam Nano 3 with the first gen round lens. That's pretty cool. No, I'm not pissed, channels. I'm just frustrated because there's just no reason for it. It's just absurd. It's just unnecessary. I'm not pissed though. If I'm pissed, you'll know it. I'll give you something to cry about. Look at this ugly ass build. It's not ugly. It has character. That's what you're supposed to say, right? Look at that! Look at that! I'm going to put these tri-blades on it. These tri-blades were always my favorites. Oh. I could put the... I could put a set of the the GemFan prototype tri-blades on here. And then Zen moment, Brandon. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna put a set of the. So if you want to try, the only possible way for you to try out these GemFan prototype tri-blades is to buy this quad. It's just gonna fly way better on these, to be really honest. And I want this thing to fly as good as possible. So there it is. No, Frank. No. No, Frank. Oh wait, who did it? Brandon or Frank? It looks like they did it at the same time. Oh shit! No, it's fine. Do timeouts add up? Does he get 600 seconds? Did he say something deserving of it, or had you guys just had enough? Oh, it's fine. It's fine. He'll be back. It's only 300 seconds, channels. It's not the end of the world. I'm gonna assume that you did something over the line. Just be cool, man. Just be cool. Everybody else in chat is being cool. Join them. Be cool with them. All right. If you are absolutely hell-bent on trying these GemFan Prototype 3 blades, I have a way for you to try them. You're going to have to buy a whole quad, but it's the only way. It's the only way. Soldering iron has come down to 360 degrees because I'm such a slacker. I'm going to plug this into Betaflight. It's probably set almost all the way up anyway. So, yeah, might as well just really quickly get these motors spinning the right direction. I also want to hear what these motors sound like, to be honest. They might be a little battered. All right, let's see here. Yes, he stated he was the spammer from the other day and then posted a bunch of crap. All right, fair enough. Channels, look. If you keep doing it, I'm going to ban you from my entire channel. And then you can change your name and I'll ban that one. And you can change your name and I'll ban that one. So just don't. Just don't. There's no reason for it. Just don't. Just chill. Just relax. Woosah, motherfuckers! Wizard, start and spin motors. What are you doing back there, Channel 1? What are you acting the fool for? Did I not get this plugged in all the way? I did not. There we go. Hopefully that's better. Let's do it in here. Yeah, we good. Yeah, we good. All right, we're cool. Stop motors, motor direction. I understand the risks. Wizard, start and spin. Yay, all is right with the world. Motor 1 is wrong. Motor 2 is right. Motor 3 is right. Motor 4 is right. So we are all set to go. Stop motors, close. Everybody's spinning the right direction, and let's take a quick look in here. PIDs are not cranked. Everything looks pretty normal. Might as well put it up in the air real quick. It'll only take another second. We're not getting all these builds done. It's 7:45, and I've only finished the easy build. Although the scratch build might not be all that difficult. It's this build with the beta board that's gonna be a fucking nightmare, because I'm gonna have to do a whole bunch of soldering and wire cutting, and I gotta check the lengths on all the wires, and it's gonna take a while. So we're gonna just prioritize here and get 2 of them done, and all will be right with the world. I could just stream all night, but I don't want to. Channel with the most honesty you'll ever get. So here it is. This is going to be the first for sale build. This is going to be the first build I'm ever going to do this weird auction thing with. Hopefully it goes well. It's on ELRS. It is a BetaFPV V2 board. Can't get those anymore. And it's the only way that you're going to get the tri-blade. Oh boy. Apparently not all the motors are spinning the right directions, or I put the wrong props on here. No, I put the props on right. What the hell? I just... Hold on. Motor 3 is correct. Oh, no, motor 1 is wrong. What the fuck? All the other ones are right. What? Didn't I? Did it not save or something? What's that about? What the hell? All right, channels. You're forcing me to do this. Later. Sorry, man. I gave you so many chances. Oh, look, I can make people managing moderators or standard moderators now. That's new. Huh. All right, channels, come on back with another name, and I'll ban that one as well. Rob Oxison says, hey, look who's having a good hair day. Brandon Bean says, I think we got to get channels on the stream. Steady Eddie says, took your suggestion, and the Fractal is getting M2 hardware. Very cool, man. You'll be aight. I don't know what a managing moderator is, Kevin. That's it. Oh, wait, no, this is a B-Brain V1. Oh, my God. Jeez. I kind of want to hang on to this now. Nah, no reason. Motor direction, I understand. Wizard, start and spin. Motor 1 is indeed spinning the wrong direction. Change it. Stop motors. Close. Understand the risks. All right, now we good. Okay. Disconnect. Oh, wait. Do I need to hit save in there? Is that what's happening? Am I forgetting to hit save? God damn it. Hold on. Oops, not servos. Motors. Oh, no, we're good. We're good. We're good. We're good. Okay. That's weird. Cold Front and Penguin with a $5 super chat. Thank you so much, brother. NewBeeDrone flight controller has 3 UFL antennas. 1 broke off. Will it be okay? Also, 2S toothpick better than 1002 motors 1202. Came with 1102 18,000. So the NewBeeDrone flight controller has 1 video antenna and then 2 either ELRS or FR Sky. It depends if you have a V3 or a V4. If the video antenna broke off, then it's not going to be good. If one of the... Wow, this thing rips for 25,000 kV. They're 0802s, though. Yeah, so if one of the... yeah, so it depends on which antenna broke off. Come on. Oh, what? Stop it. Don't make me walk. At least just come home. At least just come over here. You bastard. Alright, this thing is definitely not ready to sell. That motor 1 seems to be acting up again. You little jerk. What's happening? What's happening, motor 1? Why are you upset? Did I just barely bridge your little motor connectors? Is that what's up? Seems to spin completely fine. Christ, here we go. Here we go. Managing moderators can also manage banned words and chat modes, like slow mode. That's interesting. I don't really need you guys to do that, though, so... Wait, no, that's the wrong button. Oh, God, I'm hitting all the wrong buttons. Motor 1, let's see what's happening with you. Super quick, like. Just real quick. Let's just pop you off. Make sure that those solder joints are not touching. And then we'll move on. It was flying pretty good too. So that's nice. Okay, little buddy, come off of there. And let's get you unplugged. And let's just take a little look here with a 5X loop. I mean, the one wire is touching the... It's touching the motor mount base. But usually that doesn't matter. Let's do this. Let's take motor 2 off. So here's the quickest way. If you've got a motor that's acting weird, the first thing you want to figure out is it the motor or is it the ESC? Weird buzz in the audio. That's from the transmitter being on. All right, it's off. That's an ELRS buzz there. So yeah, the easiest thing to do is to pop 2 motors off and swap them and see if the problem chases or stays in the same spot. If the problem stays in the same spot, then the problem is the ESC channel. If the problem chases, then the problem is the motor. So let's do that real quick here. We're going to take motor 2 and put it in motor 1 spot. And let's see if the twitching moves up or stays the same. Derp-a-derp-a-derp. Ramdango says buy blades. Not on these lower kV motors. On these, anything below like 26,000 kV. 26,000 kV and below, let's say that. I'm always going to put on tri-blades to get a little bit more of the thrust back, because the thrust is the one thing that really helps these 65mm rigs perform better. Tri-blades are all they're heavy enough that like you're going to sacrifice a little bit of flight performance because the response time is going to go down a little bit. But other than that, yeah. And these 0802s, they have enough stator volume to kind of make up for that. So 802s are actually pretty decent on tri-blades. It's the 702s that kind of struggle on tri-blades, but all of the 702s are really high kV, so you're kind of covered by that. All right, now we need to swap these propellers around here. Place your bets in chat. Type motor or type ESC. Which do you think it is? Do you think the problem is the motor or is the problem the ESC? I hope it's the motor, because I have extras. If it's the ESC, then this build is basically going to be sold for parts, unfortunately. With an intermittent ESC channel, which is kind of annoying. Okay. Oh, Cold Front and Penguin asked another question. Oh, how can I tell which one it is? Is his follow-up comment. So 2 of the UFLs are going to be actually IPEXs, which are smaller. One of the UFLs is an actual UFL, which is bigger. The 2 IPEXs that are smaller, those are either ELRS or FR Sky. And then the bigger one is your video UFL antenna. And then your the second half of your question is, 2S toothpick better with 1002 or 1202, came with 1102. So going down, there's not necessarily a better, it's just different. Going down to 1002, you're going to have a rig that's a little bit lighter, a little bit more efficient. Going up to 1202, you're going to have a more powerful rig with a better performing, with better flight performance. So it's all about what you want. What didn't you like about the 1102s would be my main question in order to try to kind of figure that out. Flat spot away. All right, let's see what it is. Let's see what the problem is, motor or ESC. So I'm going to put this so that you guys can see it the way that you see it in Betaflight. Motor 1 is back right. Transmitter is not turned on. Too slow, felt sluggish. You want 1202s. You want more power, not less. There we go. Hey, it's a motor problem. And it looks like it's all the way gone now. It could be a motor plug problem. This motor plug could just not be connecting to the... I just reset... Yeah, it's a motor plug problem. The plug is bad. I just... So sometimes the wires in the plug... The wires will back out of the plug a little bit. Cool. Okay, so I just have to switch this motor plug again. Or actually, let me just take a closer look at the motor plug. Sometimes I can see what's happening. Sometimes I can like see that there's a that one of the wires is starting to back out of there. So motor 2 is up here. Everybody that said motor, congratulations, you were right. You were guessing. There was really nothing to tip you off. But that's okay, man. Yeah, no, I mean, it doesn't look like... Let's see, hold on. Is one of the little metal things bent or anything like that? No. That looks fine. Sorry I'm doing this off camera, but there's kind of no way for me to do this on camera. I'm inspecting each wire, and I'm just kind of giving the wire a little bit of a tug to see if the wire is starting to kind of separate from the little metal thing that sits in the plastic thing. Okay, first two seem fine. Third one seems fine too. Huh. Let me look at the little metal pins again. Oh, yeah. Okay, I see it. One of the little metal pins is bent forward. Yeah, this is way too small for me to show you. But if I bend this... So the little metal guys, they have like a little latch on them. So the pin goes in here straight, and then there's a part of the pin that sits up like that. And you want it to sit at an angle like that. That way this... Yeah, okay. So it sits up at an angle like that. If it gets bent like this, that allows the metal pin to slide out too far. And that's exactly what's going on here. So, again, it's way too small for me to show you. But you can see it. If you have a little 5X loop, you can just look at the plastic bit where the metal latches are, and you'll see what I mean. Yeah, it's bent way too far back. So all I need to do is fix that, and we should be back in business here. Yeah, that's better. That's better. Okay. You don't want to bend them too far. If you bend them too far and you flatten it out, it's no longer a latch. You want it at like a 45-degree angle. This one was bent like all the way back to like 160 degrees. All right, now I got it back vertical. I need to keep pushing on it. Yeah, there we go. And they're going to try to fight you because they're going to try to, like the wire is basically going to try to push out of the plastic thing. It's a little fiddly, but you'll get it. Just keep looking at it and keep kind of messing with it. This is probably already completely fine, but I want to really get it to be as good as possible. I mean, to be honest, these connectors are pretty shitty. These JST connectors. If you look into these JST connectors, they have a service life of like 30 plugins or something. It's really ridiculous. But I assume that they're like the most available and the cheapest and shit like that, and the smallest and the lightest. Okay, that is now at a 45-degree angle the way it should be. Let's see if that fixed it. If not, I'll swap the cable out. Just not right now. I'll do that on my time. Oops. This guy goes the other way. Okay. All right, and let's get him plugged in here. Good to go. All right, let's see if it's all better and fly it around the room. Should be completely fine. Let's now wait the ages that it takes for these things to... oh, now it's broken all the way. Great! Okay, we made it worse. How the hell? How did that happen? How did I make it worse? Nope, there it goes. The plug wasn't in all the way. Ah! Kind of like simulating crashing. Yeah, no, that plug has to get replaced. All right. Such is life. I should have an extra one floating around. All right, cool. First build, great success. It doesn't work. Do we keep going and fix it all the way so that it does work? Oh, farts. 3 builds. Will he get it done? Or will he get stuck on the first one that's just like being built to be a donkey? I mean, it's not a finished build until it's finished. So I guess I have to stay on this one. Hopefully that scratch build will go fast, because I mean, it'll be ridiculous if I plan for 3 and only do 1. Although, to be expected, that's for sure. I never said you guys were wrong that were doubting me in the chat. Matter of fact, I was pretty sure you were right. But you know. Michael D with a $20 super chat. He said, PayPal. He says, since you're not going to have enough time to finish all 3 for the Medicine Man Fund. Thank you so much, Michael D. Medicine Man Fund is coming up here. Where the hell is it? Your fund, there it is. 305 goes to 325. Thank you, dude. And then, Chris, what's your YouTube name? God damn it. Mr. Huggy with a $20 PayPal. He says nothing. But we got to finish this build because this guy sent money. Medicine Man Fun is up to 345. Thank you, friends. There it is. Okay. Let's fix it. Yeah, it's definitely the plug. So we really confirmed that it was the plug. Just to reiterate what just happened. We confirmed it's the plug by the fact that, like, when I would essentially jiggle the plug around, the problem would go away and then come back and then go away and then come back. What I think is going on is, because I got the latch fixed, the little metal, the plugs On the flight controller, there are pins, and the pins, there's 3 pins, and the pins stick up like this, okay? And then the plug, each one of the little plugs goes over the pin. Over time, eventually, usually this doesn't happen, but this is when these plugs die, that part will, all right, he's back as Terrence. Terrence, just in case you're not the spammer from before, this is your one and only warning to stop posting 7,000 times like you are. Put a bunch of stuff in one chat comment, and that's it. Don't do multiple chat comments. It's obnoxious, but I'm pretty sure that you're crashed, so I'm pretty sure you're going to get kicked off the channel in a second. But this is your one and only warning. So yeah, and I think that's the service. That's why these things have such a service life, because the metal kind of expands. But Terrence, I'm gonna stupidly give you a chance here. I'm pretty sure you're crashed, but just in case you're not, you've been warned. Just don't fill the chat up like you're doing. No reason for that. Okay, here we go. Soldering iron's coming up to temperature. I actually have to dive into my box here for some extra of these JST 1.0 plugs. So hang on. And I'm going to grab another red one because I'm a lunatic. Ah! Hey, I got another red one. Maybe? Is that the right plug? Nope. Where are the NewBeeDrone ones? Where are you at, little guys? Small NewBeeDrone plugs, where are you? I think they're in the other little container. Let's see. Bork says, is it worth buying a JST crimper and crimps? Not really. Because you can get these extra plugs so cheap and they're kind of like readily available that it's just like whatever. You know what I mean? If I was going to do a ton of them, maybe it would be worth it, but it's not something that happens often enough. Like for it would make sense for Jesse to have one, but not for me, really. Oh, Terrence, why do you make me do it? Why do you make me do it? Why? Like, is it fun for you to be hated by everyone? Is that fun? Bye-bye. It's not fun for anyone else. Shit, this isn't one either. Tell me I don't not have another set of these. I must. I did use a bunch of them to make the little adapters. You guys remember that fiasco? I made those little JST 1.25 to 1.0 adapters. I burned 2 full sets of these when I did that. Shit, where else would I have these? Where else would I have extras? Hey guys, we're doing 3 builds tonight, or no builds. Farts. Hold on, I must have them somewhere. I must have them. I mean, absolute worst case, I can pop one off of one of these motors here. You know, I think I did use all my extras, because I soldered them onto these kind of banged up old school NewBeeDrone motors. And that might have been my last set. I'm going to do that real quick. I'm going to just remove just one of them from here. That's fine. That's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. This is the quickest and easiest way to free one of these up. All right, we'll be all right. Here we go. Take it off this guy and put it onto that guy, and all will be right with the world. Okay, cool. Simple as that. Yeah, these NewBeeDrone 0802 20,000s, I put them on that rig. Oh, fuck. Which one's which? Shit. This is the new one, right? Oh, God. Why me? This is the one that I just removed. It has to be. It's a lot shorter. Yeah, this is the garbage one. Throwing this one away. I'm not going to give you guys the close-up. I'm just going to knock this out real quick. Twisted is the old one. Thank you. Twisted is the name of one of the more absurd Mighty Car Mods build projects. Anybody remember that? Where are the true Mighty Car Mods fans at? The true OG fans. You guys remember Twisted? Ooh. Can do this middle one by hand too. That song that he did for Twisted was just amazing. Oh man, am I going to be able to do all three of these by hand? What a well-behaved little wiring harness. Look at that. All three of them by hand. Hello, fucker. What? What? Alright. Buried Alive says, what would be your #1 tip to someone trying to get off of angle mode into full-on acro? Anybody else in the chat thoughts? There are no tips. It's just stick time. I hate that that's the answer, but really, like, it really is. It's just stick time. You just have to put the time in. I mean, I guess the only, like, the reason why it's all about stick time is that you have to find center. You have to figure out how to level your horizon. Because when your horizon is a little bit not level, you'll just slide into door frames and couches and shit like that. So I guess that was the only So the tip is the trick is stick time, but what you're trying to pay attention to during that stick time is finding center. That is going to naturally happen. Like, even if I hadn't told you that, you would naturally sort of just figure that out. But yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. That's like the biggest hurdle. So yeah, keep that in mind, and just put the batteries in, man. Get yourself a bunch of batteries and get yourself a regimen. Like, every night I'm going to fly 5 batteries or 10 batteries, and you don't go to bed without doing it. And before you know it, you'll be good to go. But yeah, in my opinion, that's one of the big things, is you just have to figure out how to center your horizon at all times. Before flips, after flips, all the time. And it's going to take a while, yo. It's going to take hundreds of batteries. But it's well worth it. Because you can then start transferring the skills that you have outside to inside. And that's a big deal. And it's worth it. It's worth the effort. And, like, you know, in the interim, you're flying. What could be better than that? Okay. New wiring harness put on. Let's see if the problem goes away. If the problem doesn't go away, then it's the motor, which is much more of an annoying issue. But still pretty easily fixable. Where'd that battery go? Here it is. Yo, I'm hungry. Why am I so hungry? Guess I didn't really eat much today. Today was a bad day, yo. I've been trying to fix my sleep schedule, and I've been doing really good just forcing myself to stay awake during the day, but I did not force I was not able to do it today. I fell asleep in the middle of the day for hours. All is right with the world! Although, now the motor is not spinning the right direction, is it? Wait, it's that. Nope. Now the motor's spinning the wrong. I'm like, why is that thing so angry on the ground? Well, there's a motor that ain't quite right. Back into Betaflight we go! Good lord, it's after 8 o'clock and we haven't even finished the one build yet, but it'll be done in but a second. Jesus. Connect. Motors. Motor direction. I understand. Wizard. Start spin. Motor 1 is wrong. Reverse it. Well, that's weird. Motor... Oh no, motor 1 was right. It's motor 2 that's wrong. No, motor 1 is wrong. What the fuck? I guess you have to I guess it doesn't remember. You have to redo it every time. 4 is correct. 2 is correct. 1 is now correct. 3 is now correct. Stop motors. Close. Jeez. Okay. Oh, I did swap motors. Good call, Morton. That's right. That's right. That's right. At least somebody's paying attention around here. Okay. Test flight number 2. Or 3 or 4 or 5. Here we go. This is it. This is the one. It's going to be fine. Hey, we good. Ah! The hover point is a little bit higher than what I'm used to. Oh god! Ah! Woo! Yay! All right. Ooh, a little bump on the ceiling. I don't think I have crash prevention turned on this. Oh boy. It's certainly not acting like it. Oh boy, it still shreds. His goober mount has a little bit of a different up tilt, I think. Feels a little different. Oh god! Or maybe it's just, no, it's just heavy. The rig is a little heavier than what I'm used to. That's what it is. Tune is good. Good tune. Yeah. Hey! Stick forward. OSD on. I'll be damned. There's not much of a difference in the OSD. Look at this. The NewBeeDrone V1 board, for some reason, doesn't have that same darkening that the V3 and V4 have. What? What? Yo! I'm going to let Kelvin know that. That's interesting. Or it's always darkened. Maybe it's always darkened. And it doesn't get less dark. Interesting. That's a little weird, I gotta be honest. That is not, I didn't expect that. These tri-blades feel really good on here. This flies really decent for what it is, Jesus. I should probably run that antenna through there. Well, the antenna can kind of hang. So yeah, I think this guy is ready to go. Let me throw another battery through it though. and we'll see if if it can take any more tuning. Although, I mean, it's good. Like, it's good to go. The tune's fine. I don't know why I always have to mess with everything. Let's go right into the OSD and simplified tuning, and let's push this master multiplier, see what happens. Let's push it to, we'll go pretty hard. We'll go all the way up to 1.4. That's a big change. It was fine. It's fine with it. Let's push it even farther. How far can we go? Oops. 0.4. Let's go up to 1.8. Shit, man, these motors are clean. I was worried these motors might be a little bit banged up, but oh my god, it's still fine. What? Wow. Okay. Oh god. These motors are clean, I guess. Hold on, let me see. Let me spin these motors up in my hand. Turtle mode on. Oh yeah. Oh god, yeah. These motors are perfectly smooth. Okay. 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 Wow, these are like brand new motors. No shit. Okay. Damn. That's good. I love that. Let's run the rest of this battery. So this is what a kind of heavier rig flies like. 25,000 kV motors, 0802s on tri-blades. These are the GemFan prototype tri-blades. You know, I talk a lot of shit on the heavier rigs and the lower powered rigs, but I mean, this is fine. Like, look at that. It had no prop wash coming down into its own wake. What's Felix watching? What in the Sam Hill is that? I hear footsteps. There's Azalea. Hello, child. Oh boy. Oh boy. Help me! They just went, okay. Thank you. Oh yeah, this ain't bad, yo. Oh no! Let's bring it back downstairs before I break it. Oh no! Stay out of there. Yeah, not bad. Oh no, what am I doing? NewBeeDrone gates are not really power loopable. No. Battery's dead. Hover point's a little higher than what I'm used to. Let me make sure that the throttle expo is set properly. Go into profile, and then we'll go into rates, and scroll down to the bottom, and then back up. Throttle expo amount is 30. The midpoint is way too low. That's why. Let's move the midpoint up to probably 35 is about right. And all right, we're gonna put one more battery through it. BeepTube says, I got the ICM 4268 disease. What's up, B-Man? How are you? B-Man's been putting out some fucking crazy 5-inch freestyle edits lately. You love to see it. You love to see it. All right, last battery on this rig real quick. I just want to dial in the hover point. And we'll finish the tuning on whatever the stream is that I do the auction, but I just want to get this nailed down before I forget. So I'm just kind of cruising around, taking a look on the right there at the throttle value, 35, 36, 38, 39, 41, 44, and I'm just trying to get like a good average number. So 40, 38, not changing elevation, that's the trick. 40, 38, 41, 40. All right, so I'm going to move it up. I set it to 35. That's a little bit low. If anything, you want to have it set a little bit too high because then when you're nose down flying fast, it's going to be correct. That hover point is going to change depending on everything. The weight of the battery, the pitch of the propellers, the number of blades on the propellers. So now when I'm cruising around, and I can feel it. When you get it right, you can literally feel it. So now it's 41. Yeah, so now we're about right. Now we've got... And yeah, the throttle resolution is all of a sudden fixed. Oh boy, easy. Oh god, it's so delicious! Oh yeah, throttle resolution is magical now. Look how I can control my my elevation a lot better. Tiny gap, tiny quad. Ah! I just bumped it. I just bumped the leg. Oh, sucks to be you. Oh, hi! I never go through in that direction. I wonder why. Oh, that would have been so sick. See if I can get it. Nope, didn't throw it back far enough. Oh, God! That's quite satisfying. Oh, the tight gap! The monitor gap! I don't usually attempt the monitor gap, but I was feeling saucy! Oh, not enough height. And we're at 3.5. Bring her on home. Yeah, that flies really nice. I gotta be honest. At the weight that it's at, that ain't bad at all. Shit. Let's see what it is at. I mean, this has got all the heavy parts, man. It's got the heavy frame. It's got the mobula canopy. It's a chunky little bird. I can't believe I just said the word bird in reference to a quad. Ugh, I'm so gross. Wow, no, it's not that heavy. 22.6. That's not bad. All up with a 300 mAh BT 2.0 battery, 30.7, 30.8. Not bad. Huh. Usually the you know what it is? The V1, Acrobee board is lighter. And so that's why it's not quite as heavy. Because it doesn't have the, heat sink on the VTX because it doesn't run the VTX up to 1,000,000 gigawatts. So yeah, well, very cool. We'll do a little auction for this rig on Friday's live stream, I think. Man, you know what I think? The tri-blades work really well on the heavier rigs because they're more grippy. So they'll in my brain at least, in my brain. Very cool. Hey, sticker packs are available. There's the matte pack, which is a matte Micro King sticker, a matte Gangly Gang sticker, and a matte CiottiFPV sticker. $10, CiottiFPV.com. Hit the PayPal button, put your address in there, tell me that you want the matte pack or the glossy / holographic pack. Holographic CiottiFPV sticker, holographic Gangly Gang sticker, and a shiny Micro King window cling. This is not a sticker, this is a window cling. You can put it on the inside or the outside of a window. $10 and I'll mail you some stickers. Chat, what's up? B-Man says, yo, BeepTube said, we got that. Warren Upset says, you teaching Maggie's kids how to fly, or are you just the nerd in the basement? I'm just the nerd in the basement. Azalea has said like once or twice like that they want to fly, and I have 2 brushed tiny whoops upstairs, and I was like, here they are, whenever you're ready, come get at me. They're 12 though, and so I don't want to like rush them because I don't want them to like, at that age, like they get into and out of stuff really quick. So if they want to wait a little bit longer, I'd love them to get into it and stay into it. But yeah, I'm just kind of playing it by ear. Michael D says, I just learned something interesting on my BLV4. Set my goggles to 16:9 and the BI looks much better. That's weird. What goggles can you set to 16:9? Kevin Sumner says, updating to 4.4. When are you taking the plunge? Man, I saw that it's now, it's up, like it's done, right? I saw that and I was like, man, I'm just so happy with 4.3, and there's really nothing in 4.4 that kind of interests me, if I'm completely honest. It's not like uninteresting, but it's also not. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just like the GPS return to home stuff is really cool, but I don't use that. Here's what'll happen. Mark Spatz will put out a video on it. I think he already has, though, and I just chose to not watch it because I'm a dick. At some point here, I'll watch a video about it, and that'll get me like jazzed up on it, and then I'll do it. It's such a pain. Like, for me to change firmware, it is just a nightmare, man. It's like a 2-day long disaster because there's just too many fucking quads in here. But it is good. Like, it is a good thing when I'm forced to do it because, like, it gets me to, like, revisit rigs and, like, check their tunes out. And, like, I learned stuff tuning and I can kind of change it. Cobra X V2 goggle can change 16. Oh, that's pretty cool. I wonder why it would look better in 16:9. That's weird. I don't understand that at all. So one build is all the way done and ready to go. Thank you, Michael D and Mr. Huggy, for the super chats. I now feel like I have fulfilled those not super chats, PayPals, and now I don't feel bad about. There's no way in hell I'm going to do all 3 of these tonight. I am going to piece this together though, because I can just screw this together, and then it's almost like I've done 2 builds. And that'll make me feel a little bit better about clickbaiting everyone with a stream title that says 3 builds. But I did say in the stream title, will we get them done? And the answer, as everyone guessed right away in the chat, was no. It's just unrealistic. Like it's unrealistic to do 1 build in the course of a live stream, because when you're streaming, something magical happens and nothing ever goes right. So yeah. That's just the way that it is. Wait, no, I gotta leave these in here. Because this is the other for sale build. It will not be for sale on Friday. It will maybe be for sale on Sunday or maybe Monday. I don't really know when. But yeah, this is the other sale build. So I'm gonna save these little boxes for whoever buys it, so that you get everything. And yeah, let's bolt this thing together, and it'll be almost like we've done. I mean, technically speaking, what I could do is just do a diff from my other Mobula 6 rigs onto this, and then by the end of this live stream I could just say, hey, it's done, there you go. But I don't want to do that. I want to custom tune this and all the things. So yeah, I wouldn't do that. All right. So we don't need this. We don't need this. Whoever buys this is going to get some extra stuff. Do need this. Do need these. An extra screw. Look at that. Okay. Also, I think this has a different gyro. So I want to do a custom tune on that as well. I don't want to just assume that the other tunes that I have are pretty kind of simple and not really like insane, so it would probably be fine with this same tune, but it is a different gyro, so I would prefer to custom tune it. All right, is ground still? Yep, ground is still in the corner, so that's perfect. This pre-made 90-degree BT 2.0. This is as light as you can get it. If you solder them on at a 90-degree, you can save a little bit of space here. This will drop right in there. So let me just move a couple things out of the way here, and I will do this on the little close-up camera for you guys because this is kind of interesting. So this is how I like to solder up these BT 2.0 leads. I like to use the through holes, and it's kind of all about being able to see what the hell you're doing here. So you're going to put the front part of the through holes that you're going to be putting the soldering iron on towards you, and then the bottom part away, so that you feed these through, and that way you can see them coming through the holes. Sometimes what you can do is like pre-seat these in the holes. But the wires have to be tinned in order to do that. And sometimes once they're tinned, they don't want to go through there. So we have to do a couple of things here. I actually have to flatten these wires out a little bit. And here's how I do that. I prefer to do this on a little block of wood that I've got, but we can do it on the edge of this thing. And you just want to put like the wire against a flat surface and then just push on it a little bit, and you can kind of pull away. All right, I didn't clean the tip of the soldering iron. That was stupid. All right, clean tip of the soldering iron because you want to try to kind of take a little bit of solder off of these. You want as little solder as possible to get them to go through holes. So there we go. That took a nice little chunk off. And what you're trying to do is flatten out the wires. So just kind of like look at it, and then you'll usually need to rotate it around a little bit and do it again. And yeah, you're just trying to get the wire as flat as possible, because when it's flat, it'll go through the holes. When it's fanned out, it won't want to. You can just use your soldering iron to remove any extra little solder there. And like sometimes you'll have to flip it completely upside down because you'll have like one wire that's trying to escape, and that's exactly what's going on right now. So just keep turning it, keep working it, and eventually you'll get it to a perfect circle. And keep cleaning the tip of your iron because, again, you want as little, you want them to be tinned, but if there's a lot of extra solder on them, it'll be too big and it won't fit. So we're getting there. Keep looking at it. This is something where magnification definitely does help. I'm not using it right now, but okay. I think that's just about right. I'm going to need to look at this under a little bit of magnification now. Yeah, there we go. That's looking pretty small. Let's see if it'll fit. And then we'll do the other one. Oh man, it's close. I can feel that it's like kind of starting to go in there. Yeah, there it is. It's in. Okay, cool. So the positive lead is good. Let me take a look at the ground. Oh, the ground looks pretty good too. It must be like really close, but not quite there. Let's see here. How is the ground not fitting? Man, it looks like it's plenty round. Maybe it's just got a little bit of excess solder on it. So let's come in with a dry soldering iron tip and just pull on it a little bit. And okay, maybe that's just barely enough. Let me take another quick look at it. Yeah, that should be good. That should be good. So yeah, like this is kind of my favorite way of doing it, is to just get these and you just like pre-insert them into the little jibby jabbies here. And I'm going to do this up by my face just because it's kind of fiddly. There we go. Yeah, we're good. So they're both all set. So they're in the holes. And when you do this, you usually, like, I like to cut these so that the one that's farther back is a little bit longer. So in this case, the ground won't want to stay in there. See how it's shorter? It's not long enough. So we're going to do the positive lead first, and then we're going to do the ground lead. So just leave the positive hanging out in here, and we're going to do that one. And now in this case, what we're going to do is we're actually going to put this wire the way that we want it, and we're going to add solder up on the top, and it's going to flow down through. So get your solder over here to the right so that it's ready, because you want to load the tip of the solder up, the soldering iron up. And then I'm pre-bending this to the left, which is the direction that it's going to go. And so in one big motion, you're going to pick up some solder, and it's kind of hidden behind the picture-in-picture here, but I'm picking up solder. You'll see the smoke. Now the tip is filled with solder, and now we're just going to hold it, and it's going to heat the joint up, and that solder is going to flow down into the joint, and now we're good to go. And that made way too big of a solder ball on top there, so I'm going to put some flux on it, and we're going to remove some of that solder. But initially what we want to make sure is that we're getting enough solder into the joint with the wire and the... because we didn't tin that... the through holes. So you want to make sure that you get enough temperature into it, and that just takes a little bit of time. So I'm going to put a nice chunk of flux here, and then we're going to really heat this thing up, and we're going to keep pushing this wire into the hole, because it's going to, otherwise it's going to want to come out there. So we're going to load or whatever this wire again, and now we're going to heat it back up, and I picked up a little bit of solder on that side of the tip of the soldering iron. I'm going to flip it over, and I pick up a little bit more. And now we've got a much smaller solder ball in there that's nice and shiny, and that's how we know that the flux was working and that we got good heat transfer. I don't hate having a solder ball on the other side of this, because that is one way to make sure that this plug never comes out, but I don't like that solder ball to be too big. And now what you want to do with your magnification is look at the other side of the joint over here in between the silicone and the pad to make sure that there's solder. You don't want to see any copper or gold on this side, because otherwise that means that the solder did not penetrate through the through hole. And in this case, I can just barely see silver and not gold. That's really important if you're ever going to do through holes and not tin the through hole itself. So we're good. We got good penetration. There is solder completely covering up the through hole on this. Now we're going to do it on the ground. And so we're going to pre-insert this little guy. And what made it harder is this the red wire kind of has a little bit of memory to it, but we're good. We just took the angle out of it there for a second. All right, so now the ground lead is through, and we can see that it's peeking through. So here's the other way to do this. If you don't hold the wire like I showed you a second ago, the other way to do this is to put the soldering iron on the pad and add solder with it there. So I'm going to put the soldering iron on the top of the pad, and then I'm going to add solder from the side. But in order to do this, we might as well throw some flux on here right off the bat to make sure that we get some really good heat transfer. So there's just going to be an explosion of smoke as soon as I touch this to it. And then we're going to try to add solder from the bottom/side here. So I'm just going to touch this with the tip of the soldering iron. I put the flux in a dumb spot, and I didn't have my hand on the table. So I'm fixing that. So I'm nice and steady here. So here we go. And what's nice about doing this way is you're pushing solder into the through hole, and that's really it there. With the through holes, there's only a tiny little gap, so you don't need to add a lot of solder. We're going to check, though. I got to check the back of it to see if I got enough penetration. I'm going to do that with my little 5X loop. And in this case, I did not. I did not get enough penetration here. There is still a little bit of gold showing on the back. So we probably have enough solder in there at this point. We just need to get this joint a little bit hotter. We need to be a little bit more patient so that it flows all through it. So we're going to reapply some flux. Again, that's just going to make sure that the heat transfers really well. So get that completely coated in flux. I am going to I'm going to put this to the right side of my work. This is my little spool of solder. And I am going to pick up some fresh solder before I put the tip of the iron back onto this work, just to really make sure that we've got enough solder in here. And the other thing I'm going to do is put a little bit of pressure on this black wire so that this black wire is being pushed into the joint to make sure that it doesn't try to slide out or anything like that. So picking up solder on the tip of the iron and then bringing it into the pad. And I could just feel the wire move in a little bit. And now we're going to remove it. And now that amount of timing there was almost certainly correct. It's already kind of warm from before, but we are going to check it just to be absolutely certain. Oh man, it's not. It is not wanting to penetrate. So here's a little trick. We're going to put a little bit of flux on the back side of this thing. It's going to get a little bit resiny by doing this, so I usually try to not do this, but if we get a little bit of solder on the back side of this, where the wire is, it's going to want to transfer the heat back there, and it'll pull the solder back. So same thing we just did. And clean iron tip. Pick up a little bit of solder. And get it onto the pad. And I can see that flux on the back side starting to shift. And now there we go. And now that almost certainly will have pulled the solder back there. But we are, of course, going to check. There it is. There it is. Yep, now I can see it. Cool, so we're good. We got full penetration. There is still, so on the through holes, oh, this is going to be hard to show you. On the through holes, my favorite thing, so there's a through hole there, and then there's the gold. And the gold comes up onto the PCB, and there's a little like fraction of a millimeter here that goes all the way around. What I prefer is for enough solder to push through that it completely covers that gold. You can't always do that though. In this case, you can see the solder on the inside. There's no reason to cover that. It's just like I feel more comfortable with it like that. It doesn't do anything though. In this case, I can see the solder is on the inside of the hole and it's transferring to the wire. That's really what matters. The solder then traveling up on this lip, it doesn't do anything. So that's what I can see with the 5X loop, that there is a layer of solder in here. You want to basically, the entire depth of the through hole, you want to make sure that the whole depth of that is filled with solder, because that solder is what's connecting the through hole to the wires, to the individual strands of wire. So that's where all the strength of the through holes come from. It looks better, to be honest, if it comes up and covers up that lip so that there's no gold, but that doesn't accomplish anything, right? All the work is done on the inside there, and what I can see is that the solder has pooled up. So, I mean, I could technically go in there and heat it and rework it again, but you want to rework stuff as little as possible, because the pads are glued to the PCB. So the more you heat that up, the more chance there is that glue is going to soften and the pad is going to let go. With through holes, it's a lot less likely because it's a through hole. This is the great thing about through holes. But yeah, if you can rework a board one less time, do it. And in this case, I'm not going to rework it for vanity on a thing that you're never going to see, because it's covered up by the insulation of the wire. Anyway. Make sense? So there we go. We did our only soldering that we need to do on this scratch build. And get this up and out of the way here. All right, cool. So let's do some screwing. Oh, fart. Get back here. Let's screw some things up. I mean, in. Well, up. Oh man, why do I have so many? We have screwdrivers in here. What's happening? Is that gonna close? Yeah, it's closed. BeepTube says you might be able to forge the wire ends now. What do you mean forge? Michael D says, in 4.4, you can set the binding phrase. No need for the CLI command. That's pretty cool. Michael Blade says, oh, God, excuse me. Says, what's good? Changing to 16:9 helps compensate for the slight fisheye, Michael D says. That's pretty cool. I like that a lot, actually. I mean, do you guys really want to watch me screw these down? Is that good? I mean, it won't take very long. Yeah, let's just do it. It won't take very long. Ask any questions you've got. There's not much life left in this stream. What time is it? 8:50? At 9 o'clock we going off. Fair warning. What's up with these screws? What's happening here? Oh, I guess the screws are just... Oh, okay, right. The silver-headed screws don't dig into the plastic as far. I usually use black screws, and they kind of bury into the plastic a little bit. These silver ones don't do that. I thought I was cross-threading them, but you kind of can't cross-thread these because they're going through all the plastic, so they're always like dead straight by the time they get through. All right. So these 28,500s for like 98% of people are going to be all the power that you ever need. The whole 30,000 kV and 32,000 kV, like it's an awful lot. It is an awful lot. So yeah, don't be turned off by the fact that these are only 28,500. And to be honest, there was a point where I kind of thought that I liked these better because they up at 30 and 32, Jesus, like you lose some throttle resolution and it's a bit much. So yeah, and I'm gonna revisit these 28,500s whenever WeBleed gets their V2s out. I have a feeling that Zotac will send them to me, and I'm gonna revisit that. Like, hey, do we really need all that extra power? So yeah, whoever gets this, you're gonna love it. You are not gonna want more power. That's what I'm gonna say. These are possibly the like, if we want to say like best, these might be the best KV because best like loops in everyone, right? And above this KV, it gets really hard to fly. And not everybody can put, Christ, thousands at this point probably of batteries into flying tiny whoops to really get good. If you plan on putting thousands of batteries in, I think that the 30s and the 32s are going to be a better bet for you because you're going to put enough time in to really get good enough to get the extra benefit from them. But I mean, for your first, Christ, at least probably like 500 or so batteries, you are not going to want more power than what you can get from these 28,500s. So never fear. All right, and we are going to build this with the little arrow part facing forward so that we get the better weight distribution of the battery being slightly farther back. And here we go. This little fella. Come on now, get in there, little buddy. Okay. We are in. And let's get some screws into this canopy. Okay, this is the 3-pot canopy, so we need one regular screw for the front. Michael D says, any tips for removing the motor C-clips on NewBeeDrone flow motors? They use a different style C-clip. Just patience, brother. Just patience. Chris Long says, not looking Not looking gangly today. Get your ears lowered. I did. I got my ears mad lowered. Where's the front of this board? Technically, the tip for C-clips is to do it in a plastic bag, but trying to do it in a plastic bag, like, it's already hard enough to get the C-clips off. To then try to do it in a plastic bag, it becomes damn near impossible. I mean, it does prevent the C-clip from flying away, but if you just keep your finger on top of the C-clip, that usually prevents it from going into never, never to be found again land. But yeah, it's just patience, man. And it's, if you've, I stole this pair of needle nose pliers from my dad ages ago, or maybe he gave them to me. And these work really well. They're smooth tipped, relatively fine needle nose pliers. These are like the perfect needle nose pliers for removing C-clips. So, yeah, maybe you have a set like this. It's just being patient, though. That is really like most of it. God damn it, I forgot to plug the camera in, as I always do. Yeah, as soon as you lose patience, stop trying, because that's when the C-clip is going to shoot off into Never Never Land. You got to smoke a big fatty before you do it, so that you have plenty of chill. Or so I'm told. Actually, that would probably not be a good idea, because it would make you all lazy and not want to do it. You'd be like, nah, fuck this, I'll do it later. Okay. Here we go. Get up in there, little guy. Get up. Get up in there. Okay, here we go. There it is. Plugging the camera in this time. Since that's the only way that it'll actually work. Come on now. Come on now, get in there. Alright, cool. And drop down. What? I guess I didn't get this plug seated all the way. There it goes. There it goes. Now it's seated all the way. When these plugs are brand new, you got to really push on them. It's incredible how much these little plugs loosen up over like not many plug cycles. I mean, that's why they're only rated for X number of cycles. But yeah, it's kind of wild. All right, we got our antenna going in from the rear here, and then we're going to hook this up before we put the canopy on. There we go. Twist it to the side here. Come on now. There it goes. All right, perfect. And this little bit of shrimp wrap is perfect for peeking it through that back hole in the canopy, and it just kind of sticks right in there. It's really nice. You just want to make sure you get enough angle on the UFL, which means pushing it all the way over. There we go. All right, cool. And now we can get this canopy on here. And on Friday, what we'll do is custom tune this and fly it around a little bit, and it'll be ready by the end of Friday's stream. So Friday's stream will have the auction for the NewBeeDrone build, and then we'll finish this up, and then maybe we'll auction this off on the Sunday build. That's a good little like flow. Oh wait, no, hold on. Got to put this in the front before I rotate this canopy around. Alright, there we go, and screw that in until you see the rubber grommet just start to balloon out a little bit. Perfect. And get this canopy the rest of the way on. We'll be good to go. We will have completed 2 builds tonight. I mean, you know, this is the building process. We're not going to do the tuning, but we did the building. Did we not? Did we not do the building? We did not? Oh, well. Okay. This guy going over here. Get in there, little buddy. Okay, cool. All right, there it is. Let's make sure these guys are all just the right tightness. Yep. Tighten them up until like there's a little bit of resistance, and then you just kind of stop. There's not like a magic. There's not any real magic to it. That guy just hangs out in there like that. Switch you guys over to the detail cam for the rest of this so you can really see it. There you go. So yeah, see that antenna just kind of sticks out. It just fits perfectly in one of the bottom hole in the back of the canopy there. And then the shrink wrap like gives it a little bit of friction so that it just kind of sticks in there. Every once in a while it'll pop out, but then you can jam it right back in. Nice little setup. Yeah, we're looking good here. We're going to do some bi-blades on this guy because it's got the 702s. And away we go! Look at this murdered out build, yo. You know what we don't have? We don't have any black 702s. We could do a full murdered out build with black 0702s. That might be interesting. Since if this is the total if, but like if somehow there was a CiottiFPV sponsored 0702, since the iGows are purple, although I don't think that's purple, I think that's blue, but if Jesse can't do a more purple color, maybe black. Maybe black on black on black. That could be cool. You know? And like I am a fan of black. I used to own 2 black cars. Like the cars that I've bought willingly have all been black. The Mazda 2, I didn't initially buy that, and it was just like I kind of had to buy it at the time. I'm glad I did. But like the Miata and the Mustang, those are both cars that like I full-blown chose. Although I wouldn't have chosen black, if I'm honest. They were both used. Like if I bought a new car, I don't think it would be black. But it is still cool. Thanks for hanging, Michael D. All right, yo, 2 builds done. This one just needs tuning. Last propeller going on. And, ooh, it's past 9. I wanted to try to end this right at 9. Oh, well. There we have it. 2 for sale builds ready to go. Go figure. I put the builds that are for other people before the build that is for me. There it is. That is the ultimate freestyle tiny whoop from scratch. It's unbelievable that that's so easy of a build. It's just wild that like, I mean, that is kind of the point though. Like, I didn't want the ultimate build to be something that takes 20 hours of work. But it's just kind of wild that it really is just soldering on the BT 2.0. Oh, I guess I have to plug the motors in. That might help. But yeah, it's crazy that it's not more work to get such a rig that flies so good. And like you could say like, oh, but with more work it can fly better. Well, I don't really think so. Like with more customization, and with more lightning, you're gonna make it fragile. And for it to be the ultimate build, it can't be fragile. So this is kind of it, I think. I don't know. You could make an argument for like a McStinky canopy being better. I don't really know. I don't know about that. I think different is the right word, not better. I don't think better is the right word for that. This Modulus 6 canopy is infinitely durable. The camera will never slam into the AIO, which is not something that you can say about these TPU guys. And there's some value in that for sure. So I don't know. That's an interesting kind of conversation. Cool. I just put power to it and it didn't catch on fire, so that's good. I wanted to make sure that I did this. You guys are gonna love this. I did this 90-degree angle a little bit differently, where the wires tuck up. I'll show you. You put the battery all the way in. All the way in with the battery, and then it plugs in like this. And now see how the wires tuck up and out of the way? They use this little bit of free space that's here. There you go. See that? Isn't that cool? See the battery wires there? They go up and out of the way. Like that. And that way when the rig hits in the rear, it doesn't hit them or anything like that. Kind of cool. Just one of those little touches. You know? Thanks for hanging, friends. Ramdongo says, what's it weigh? Good question. Manjaro Black says, my wife keeps, I think, telling me if I'm going to start a YouTube channel. Asking me if I'm going to start a YouTube channel. I don't know. My colors are red and purple, so I feel like if you copy me, you would not be copying me at all, man. I do not own these colors at all. Plenty of other people that use red and purple. Uploading content to YouTube is very fun. It's very time consuming, but it's very fun. There's no reason not to do it. Why is this so light? 18.6. What's missing? Oh, there's no singularity. There's no singularity antenna. Wow, 18.6. Good God. That extra lightweightness will make up for 28,500 kV versus 30,000. This will fly just like the 30,000 kV rigs. Damn, yo, sub 19 gram. That's legit. Jeez. Okay. Somebody's gonna get a little fire breather up in here, and it'll still have the as the kV goes up and up and up, the throttle resolution kind of suffers a little bit. So one of the things I love most about these 28,500s is the throttle resolution, and that's really the main thing that makes me wonder, like, ooh, maybe these are the right kV. So yeah, it's an interesting kind of conversation to have. Like, what is right? Like, how much power is too much power? All of you that are into 2306s versus 2207s know exactly what I'm talking about. 2306s they have significantly less power than 2207s, but because of that, they have significantly better throttle resolution. And there's a lot to be said for that. Like, that makes flying them literally easier, and then it allows you to do things like fly lower to the ground and just have more control in like really technical spots. So yeah, these 28.5s are the 2306s of the Tiny Whoop world, since we really, we don't have multiple motor sizes that really work. Like 702 is kind of become obviously the best size for these 65 mil whoops. Yeah, the throttle resolution conversation happens with the KV. Although, all that being said, you can really improve your throttle resolution at your hover point with Throttle Expo, but Throttle Expo only helps at your hover point. It actually makes the situation worse on the top and the bottom of the throttle. So these 28,500s give you better throttle resolution everywhere across the throttle throw, and you can only get that from the lower power. Look at that. A whoop in a bag. Ready to go out to one lucky subscriber. You guys are not subscribers. You guys are friends, yo. Thanks for hanging out. Speaking of friends, maybe we'll do this BetaFPV build on Friday. No promises, though. I got to be in a good mood to do this build. 18.6 grams. Good Lord. Tommy B says, you're a trooper. My fingers would not be able to move after all that building. Ramdanko says, good job. And Michael D says, I've become a pro removing these C-clips, but NewBeeDrone flow C-clip is odd. I place a magnet next to it to catch it. Now that's fucking smart. That's really smart. Yeah, the NewBeeDrone flow C-clips kind of sit down. They're thinner. They're silver, I think, right? And they're like more in there. You can get them off. I've done them before. They are a pain in the ass, but you'll get them. Thanks for hanging, friends. Here comes the same flying from the beginning of the stream. Why did this file have to screw up? Hold on. Will GoPro player open it? No, it's not a GoPro player icon, you idiot. It's a QuickTime icon. Force quit. Will QuickTime play it? QuickTime, where you at? There you are. Nope. It's a broken file. Here comes some jungle gymming from yesterday. Be good, friends. With some Epidemic Sounds gym jams. No. 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 Here we go. Later, people. I'm the worst. Hold on. Hold on. Here we go. Proper outro. For real this time. Bye-bye.